Hey friends, welcome back to the show. In the last few weeks, my friend and I had been going for a walk and I was putting on my weighted vest, and her and I were having this discussion because it's kind of something newer that I've been doing as I've been trying to walk is to wear a weighted vest. And we were talking about, and her and I were talking about the benefits of using a weighted vest, some of the precautions of using it and why, and if it's important for a woman, if you are pre or postmenopausal, to use one. And it occurred to me that we never talked about that on this episode. So today we're going to talk about weighted vests as they have gained popularity as a tool for improving your strength, your bone density, and overall fitness. And we're going to talk about the role and the benefit it can have in this period of your life, this midlife period where you are pre or postmenopausal, and overall just kind of like what it is, what the benefit is, if there are some risks to using it, how you would get started. And then at the end, I'll talk a little bit about my experience with using one as well. So let's dive into today's episode. Welcome to the Whole Health Empowerment Project podcast. This show is for women over 40 who are trying to create balance in their life when it comes to food, body, self-care, and wellness. You struggle to put yourself first, to maintain consistency when something isn't perfect, or maybe you feel like you don't have enough time or willpower to achieve the goals you desire. I'm your host, Trisha Stefankowitz, registered dietitian, nutritionist. I've worked with women like you achieve their goals by focusing on the next best step, no matter how messy, and meeting you where you are right now. In this show, you'll learn practical information, actionable strategies, and mindset tweaks so that you can feel healthier, more comfortable in your body, and make choices that work for your life. Come join me in failing forward, one imperfect step at a time, into the journey of health, wellness, and self-care. Welcome to your new project. I'm sure you all have seen different people wear these weighted vests. I feel like you see a lot of it on social media. And this vest is a fitness tool that's worn on the upper body that adds extra weight during physical activity. And one of the benefits of it is instead of holding weights as an upper body, you have this vest where there is an equal distribution of weight on your upper body. So you're not having to hold anything. You're putting the vest on, you're secure with the vest, and the weight it's equally distributed on your upper body. The vest range from a variety of pounds to up to 50 pounds. The vest that I have is a 12-pound vest. The purpose of using a weighted vest is to increase the body's workload during activity. So walking, it will give you a little bit more weight and expend more energy. Hiking, if you're doing body weight exercises. And it's also helpful as a tool for strength training, promoting muscle and bone strength. And this is where it gets to be really important because for women who are premenopause, menopause, or postmenopause, we know that with these hormonal changes that are happening and this reduction in estrogen, that there is also a resultant loss in muscle mass and bone mass. And the weighted vest can be really beneficial here in terms of aiding that or helping with that. So let's talk about the benefits of using a weighted vest if you're a pre or postmenopausal woman. The first benefit is that it can improve bone density and reduce osteoporosis risk. So when you are a woman and you are going through perimenopause, premenopause, postmenopause, especially if you're postmenopausal, one of the biggest health concerns during menopause is bone density loss. We know that with the reduction in estrogen that happens when you're menopausal and postmenopausal, that estrogen plays a critical role in maintaining bone health. So as your estrogen levels drop, which is a normal change that is happening with menopause and postmenopause, women are going to become more susceptible to developing osteoporosis and then subsequent fractures related to that. I am also a proponent of really working on trying to reduce your risk of osteoporosis. So for me, wearing a weighted vest, that's kind of one of the main reasons why I want to do it, because I did have a hip fracture when I was pregnant with my son. So there's always this thought in my mind of like trying to keep my bones as strong as possible. And how a weighted vest helps is that when you wear a weighted vest during activities like walking, if you're going up and down the stairs or you are doing any body weight exercises, that weighted vest can increase the force your bones must support. And what we know is that that added stress can signal your body to build and strengthen your bones, similar to how strength training does, because you are all of a sudden, if you're somebody who is walking and all of a sudden now you have a 12-pound weight, over time, that's going to help reduce you're not going to lose bone mass as fast, and you're going to lower your overall fracture risk. So that's the first benefit, is that having that weighted vest can decrease your osteoporosis risk by helping improve your bone density by wearing it in something as simple as walking, which you may already be doing. One of the second benefits of wearing a weighted vest is that there is an increase in muscle mass and strength. We also know that as you get older and you have some of these hormone fluctuations, you can have a decrease in your muscle mass that naturally happens with the aging process, especially if you're postmenopausal. And how that can affect you when you're a woman in midlife is that losing muscle mass can slow your metabolism and increase the likelihood of weight gain. And so we talk a lot on here about like, you can weigh the same amount, but all of a sudden you may notice your body composition is different despite weighing the same amount as you always have, because there is an increased risk of fat mass, or there's an increase in fat mass and a decrease in your muscle mass, some of which is normal for aging, especially if you're not doing any strength training exercises. How a weighted vest can help with this is that by adding that extra weight to whatever you're doing in terms of your exercises, it increases the challenge of the simple activities that you may already be doing. And this additional resistance promotes muscle growth and strength. So instead of using your arm weights, you're using weights, but again, they're serving a different purpose. It's serving the purpose as it's trying to help counteract your age-related muscle loss that would happen if you were doing nothing at all. And so if you're already participating in walking and you feel like you are trying to get more of a benefit when it comes to that muscle strengthening, then perhaps adding a weighted vest would be the way to do that. By wearing them, especially if you're walking, it can lead to an improvement in muscle mass. And by having that improvement in muscle mass, also helps support your bone density and overall mobility. And I think for most people, that's the goal, right? The goal is that as you get older and you go through these hormonal changes, that you're able to maintain the strength that you had when you were younger, maybe even improve it, and that you're able to be as mobile as you were when you were younger. Another benefit is that it can help support weight management. Weight gain is a very common concern. It's probably one of the most common, besides hot flashes, common concerns during menopause. And this is related to some of the hormonal changes that your body is going through. It can be related to the muscle mass and changes in body composition, as well as a slower metabolism, and just a whole slew of different things that are happening as you have these hormonal fluctuations related to perimenopause, menopause, whatever it is that you're going through. How a weighted vest can help support weight management is that by wearing one, you can increase the intensity of your low impact exercise that you're doing. So if you're walking and you're walking without a weighted vest, and then you walk with a weighted vest, you're going to burn more calories. But the benefit is that you don't have to increase the impact of your movement. So you are still doing a low impact exercise, such as walking, but now you're putting a vest on, so you're not you're not increasing the impact and you're not increasing your risk of injury from a high impact exercise. But in fact, you're still getting the benefit of the extra weight, which is evenly distributed, which is going to help you burn more calories doing the same activity than if you didn't have the vest on. Over time, this extra activity that you're doing or the extra calories that you're expending can support weight management and increase your overall fitness level. We also know that it can help support and improve balance and stability. As you get older, you are going to be in a place that you're going to have an increased risk of falls and fractures. Women, especially when you get past the menopause stage. And if you're able to improve your balance and stability, well, that's going to help decrease your risk of injury and also help you maintain your independence as you get older. And I know you probably want your independence. Who doesn't want their independence as they get older? And so how a weighted vest can help you improve your balance and stability is that if you're able to add that extra weight, it can challenge your balance and your body can adapt to a new center of gravity. It can help improve your core strength, your stability, and your body's awareness of its position in space. And overall, improving your balance will hopefully reduce your risk of falling, which is going to be more at risk of falling if you are a postmenopausal woman. And so that's how a weighted vest can improve your balance and stability. And then lastly, let's talk about your cardiovascular health. Well, we know that cardiovascular health or heart health is another major concern for women who are going through menopause. We know that lower estrogen levels that happen postmenopausal can increase your risk of heart disease. And so if you're able to wear a weighted vest during activities like walking or hiking, it can help increase your cardiovascular demand, and then over time can improve your heart health, your endurance, and then overall your cardiovascular fitness in general. I think one of the things that it's important to understand is that it can be really helpful in a multitude of ways, and it's a way that you're doing something that you may already be doing on a daily basis or a couple of days a week. And if you're able to then put something on that's going to give you a little bit of extra weight that's evenly distributed, then you're not increasing the impact of the activity that you're doing, but you can still get lots of different benefits from it. Now, we know that there are benefits to wearing this weighted vest. We just talked about them. But there are some things to consider, especially in women who have pre-existing health conditions, or maybe you're new to exercise or you have a limited capacity of physical fitness. And so there is a risk of wearing a weighted vest, and there probably are some people that maybe shouldn't use them. So let's talk about that. If you are somebody who has increased joint stress, if you add too much weight when it comes to a weighted vest, it can increase the load on your joints, especially your knees, your hips, your ankles, and it can really start to put you at risk for injury if you are somebody who has arthritis or joint pain. And so what I would say to someone like you is you could start with a weighted vest that's very low. And we're going to get into that, like how do you pick a weighted vest in terms of the amount for someone who has that risk of injury. And so someone who has an injury like that may either want to avoid using a weighted vest altogether or start at a very low amount, maybe like 5 pounds, and then increase as you tolerate it, or again, avoid it at all costs. You would have to probably talk to your physician. And you know yourself better than what I'm giving you on a podcast. So you would know if you are somebody who probably shouldn't do it, or if you're somebody who needs to really start at a weight that's very light because you have a high risk for injury. If you're someone who has poor posture or back pain, wearing a weighted vest can leave a strain on your back and shoulders, and it can lead to poor posture and back pain. So what you would want to do that is that you would want to start with like short sessions of using your vest and while you're wearing the vest, just to kind of keep your shoulders up. I've noticed that when I wear one, my posture is much better, and I feel like I'm using my core strength much more so, and I'm much more aware of not like slouching. I feel like I actually stand up a little bit straighter. And so again, if you already have back pain, you would really want to just start with a lighter load and then just advance as you can tolerate. Because again, you don't want to injure yourself. That would defeat the whole purpose. And if you're somebody who has balance challenges, wearing a weighted vest can increase your risk of falling. And so if I were you, I would say overall, there is a benefit of having an improvement in balance and stability. But at the beginning, you would maybe want to start with like light weights, or you may even need to do balance activities before adding more weight or before adding a weighted vest, because you want to make sure that you're able to walk safely if you choose to wear a weighted vest, but that you can do it without feeling like you're going to fall because of the extra weight. So you would want to either walk by yourself, you would want to walk with no weighted vest, or you would want to do it with something else or a very light amount, just so that you would not increase your fall risk. So let's talk about how you can safely use a weighted vest. If you feel like you're ready, then let's talk about some guidelines to maximize your benefits and decrease your risk of having any potential side effects of wearing a weighted vest. Typically, the recommendation is that you start light, that you begin with a vest that weighs 5 to 10% of your body weight. And then as you get stronger by using it and your body adjusts to using it, that you then can increase the weight of the weighted vest as you build strength. I just started with the 12 pounds, and I don't even know why I picked that. I think I felt like I could probably do it, and so I started with that. You will notice that if you're picking something too heavy, it's just too hard too quick. So I would probably pick something where you feel like you can walk comfortably, and that you don't feel like you're going to be like so off balance. Especially like if you live in a neighborhood where there's a lot of hills, it can be really hard because it's adding that extra weight. So maybe even practice when you're in your house. That's what I did. I would practice when I was cleaning or when I was just kind of doing errands around the house, to practice with having the vest on so that my body could get used to it. You want to focus on low impact activities like walking and walking up and down your stairs, or body weight exercises when you're first starting out. You don't want to do anything too strenuous, especially in comparison to what you're already doing, because it will just increase your risk of injury. You want to monitor your joint health. If you feel any pain in your knees or your hips or your lower back, maybe reduce the weight, because that might be telling you like, okay, this extra weight is hurting you. And again, the goal here is to start small and to increase as your body gets used to it. And I want you to think about, it's like anything that you're doing when it comes to weights. If you're doing free weights, you wouldn't just start with like a 20-pound free weight to start doing bicep curls. You would probably start with something lighter. And so it's kind of the same thing. You're getting yourself to a place that your body, your lower body, your core is getting used to having this vest on. And then as you feel like you are more stable and you feel like you are stronger, then you would increase the weight of the vest according to that. You also want to maintain proper posture to avoid being injured. You want to keep your shoulders back, your core engaged, and avoid leaning forward. When you first put one on, I feel like it kind of does that, where you put it on and it kind of draws your shoulders back and it kind of keeps your core in. And my friend and I, before she went out and bought her own weighted vest, we were playing with my weighted vest. And she actually felt like that it really helped her align her spine and keep her core engaged. And so that's kind of what you want it to do. But I think if it's too heavy, then you're not going to have that. If anything, you're going to have a little bit more low back pain, or you're going to be more at risk for hurting yourself. And then knowing that the goal here is to use the weighted vest consistent, like to maintain that consistency. It's more important to be able to use it consistently, that you pick a weight that works for you, that can be consistent over time, versus something that is too heavy and too high intensity that you can't do it very often. The goal is to use a weighted vest a few times a week, which would be like you're outside walking or you're doing something else outside, so that you can get the moderate impact and have long-term benefit that you're trying to gain. I bought my weighted vest on Amazon. I just went in and I looked at what reviews were the best, and that's what I did. I picked a weight. I told you I do 12 pounds. For right now, I walk outside a couple of days a week. I use the vest. It seems to be really helpful. I will use it doing chores around the house, sometimes in my day job. I will use it there too because I have scrubs on. I'm a dietitian, so it's very easy for me to just like put it underneath my jacket and just kind of walk around with it. And so I feel very comfortable in it at this point. And maybe in the future, I will likely probably go up weight. But I feel like for this 12 pounds, it feels like it was good for me. I also do strength training 3 to 5 times a week. And so I think had I not been doing that, I would have had to start at a much lighter weight, maybe like a 5 or 8 pound. But I'm comfortable using the 12 pound at this point because I've already been doing some strength training. Other people, when we're talking about who should avoid using a weighted vest, I should say this too, is that if you have severe arthritis or joint pain, you don't want to be using a weighted vest. Your body probably will not do well with that extra impact. If you're somebody who already has osteoporosis or is at very high risk for a fracture, I probably, if I were you, I wouldn't do a weighted vest. I think that will probably increase your risk. And if you're somebody who has balance disorders, which we've already talked about, that would be somebody who may not really benefit from using a weighted vest because it may actually increase your risk of falling, which is, of course, not even the goal. If you have any pre-existing conditions, always consult your healthcare provider before incorporating a weighted vest into your routine because you don't want to get hurt in the name of fitness. And for you, depending on what your past medical history is, walking without a weighted vest may be more than enough. This is just a way to get a little bit more oomph and a little bit more calories burned and a little bit stronger. So the bottom line here is that for premenopausal and postmenopausal women, a weighted vest can be a really great tool for improving bone density, increasing your muscle strength. It can help you lose weight and enhance your overall balance and quality of life. But it's crucial to remember that, like any new exercise that you're doing, that you want to start lightly and then gradually increase the resistance that you're using or the amount of weight in the weighted vest that you're using. And it's perfect if you're looking for a low impact, effective way to support your health as you go through this midlife period. A weighted vest can be a great way to do that by adding it to your walking or strength routine. And it can also offer you these long-term benefits that we've talked about. As for me, I'm probably going to keep doing my weighted vest. I'm pretty used to it at this point. Again, it did take me some practice at the beginning where I would walk around with it to get used to it. And sometimes when I'm tired, I can't really wear it because it just feels like a little bit too much. So I just listen to my body and I let it kind of guide me what I need to do. Again, you would look on Amazon or anywhere that you buy your fitness equipment, and you would start with a light vest. Again, begin with a 5 to 10% of your body weight and gradually increase as you build strength. So if you are 200 pounds, if you are doing 10%, you would maybe want to go for 20 pounds weighted vest, especially if you're somebody who's already maybe doing a lot of strength training. If you're 200 pounds and you're not doing a lot of strength training, perhaps start with a 10 pound weight, a weighted vest, and then go up from there. And that's the benefit here too, is that you can always get stronger by getting a stronger and a heavier weighted vest while also maintaining that low impact benefit because you're walking, but you're not having the actual high impact because, again, you have something that is giving you strength, but without the high impact activity of it. So I thank you guys for listening, and please send me an email if you guys end up using a weighted vest. I love to hear what you guys think. My email's at info@trishard.com, or head on over to my website at trishard.com and give me what you guys think is working and what the benefits for you have been in wearing a weighted vest. I'll see you guys back here next week. Thanks so much for listening to this episode. If you found value in this podcast, please rate, review, or subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends. Together, we can take tiny, imperfect steps towards creating the whole health we desire and deserve. Don't forget to grab your freebie. You can find the link in your show notes or over at triciard.com. I'll see you back here next week.